What is up, YouTube? It's Fresco back again on part 2 in the short series of how to repaint your midsoles. Today I want to talk about how to safely strip and prep midsoles for painting. I'll be showing the products and materials that I use, as well as different techniques and avenues that I've learned throughout the process. Some of those techniques are going to be a little bit tedious, but others not so tedious. We're also going to do some comparisons on some different alternatives to harmful chemicals, such as acetone. Now, with that being said, before I run you guys off for talking too much, if you haven't had a chance, make sure that you subscribe to this YouTube channel. And also make sure that you hit that bell notification, so that way you guys are the first to be notified when I drop some new content. If you like the video, please make sure that you share, and also comment down below what you guys would like to see next. Now, with that being said, sit back, relax, and let's get started. So we're first going to start off with the products and materials that you'll need. Acetone is at the top of the list. Nah, I'm just playing. We'll just be using it as a comparison to other alternatives. What I typically use is this Jasco gel-like paint remover. It's closely compared to Dad's Easy Spray, but it's much safer. To apply the Jasco sauce to the midsoles, I'll be using an old paintbrush. Afterwards, to remove any leftover residue, I'll use denatured alcohol. And because I like you guys so much, I'll show you an acetone alternative. I'll demonstrate how much safer strip from 15-7 Restoration Supply is, and how this product can also be used as a standalone technique. So this is an example of a pair that landed into my workshop. The previous person who tried to restore these applied acetone head on, and you can see the acetone damage that it left behind. This will cause for a restoration that looks novice and simply with unsatisfied clients. Now, it's important you know your shoe's age, model, and that you're also familiar with the materials the midsoles you're working with consist of, such as polyurethane in 3s and 4s. This will help you draw up your preferred plan of attack. First up, from our 3 featured shoes in this tutorial are these 2013 Fire Red 3s. Now, our first technique will show you how to have a clean, damage-free surface like this one right here. First product I use the most is the Jasco paint remover. I use this product because it's by far one of the safest and quickest products you can use for a reasonable price. I apply it by simply using the old paintbrush that I no longer use, and after just a few seconds you'll notice the paint to begin to wrinkle up, and it tends to literally separate itself from the midsole. Now at that point, I use the back of an acetone knife to lightly scrape off the paint. I am in no way applying any pressure onto the midsole while doing this. As you see me use an acetone knife, I can only imagine what you're thinking. But believe it or not, using the backside of a pocket knife, scissors, and the most common option, a chisel, is something that's actually very common. At some points, you'll see me point down my handy dandy tool in the crevices, but again, the one I'm using is dull, and I'm applying no pressure, so it's doing its job on its own. It may seem like I'm applying a lot of Jasco,
but obviously I'm using a small brush. And with that being said, I like to make sure to stretch it to cover a good amount of the area. And the next option that you can also use is a Brillo pad to remove the paint. This is a great option if you're a beginner, but I typically don't use it because it leaves a lot more residue behind and it's also a lot slower for me. To finally get your smooth, clean midsole, the last step in this technique would be to use denatured alcohol to clean up any residue left behind. Denatured alcohol is much less harmful than acetone and it gets the job done. This next technique I call the pick and pull. I typically decline repaints on 3s and 4s that are 8 years or older because they normally can't hold up with any type of chemicals. But on rare occasions that I do accept the job, this is most likely the route that I take. If any of you are asking why not work on repaints that old, it's because at that point they're typically breaking down from the inside out and will most likely need a swap in the near future. And of course I've sped up the video, and although it may look like it, I'm not placing any pressure down at all. I'm just letting the back side of the blade do the work. Now, as long as you're not rough and you caress the midsole, you should be just fine. Last technique, I'll feature acetone just to show a comparison. 9s are typically a much harder shoe to strip, but I finally found a product to make the process a lot easier. I'll be using the shoe with the beige tape to feature the acetone alternative, and the shoe with the blue tape will show the results of using acetone and other products. So to start off this comparison, we'll start off by using my go-to Jasco. I'll also be using a Brillo pad, but as you can see, I still had to go over it multiple times and it still left a lot of paint behind. Moral of the story, it was a bust. Next up, we have acetone. And again, I'm only using this product as a demonstration and as a comparison. I'll show you exactly why not to use acetone here shortly. Although of course acetone will remove the paint, the first reason as to why not to use acetone is that it's annoyingly slow. And the worst part is yet to come. You'll start to see areas swell, and when you're finished, you'll be left with a lot of pinholes, which causes for a bad repaint. And finally, the product that I use for special occasions, but really can be used as a standalone technique. It's also used to replace any of the other harmful products and chemicals. 15-7 strip. Notice, as opposed to acetone, how much quicker and a smoother canvas is left behind. I also like that the bottle features a convenient push top to avoid any kind of spills and messes. And finally, excuse the horrible lighting, but if you feel like you can see a huge difference here, wait until we get up close and personal.
Alright guys, now that you have these extra tips and tricks, it's up to you to put them to good use. I'll leave a link in the description box below for all the products and materials that I used throughout the video. With that being said, if you found this video informative or if you just liked it, smash that like button, subscribe, and share it with a friend. Now don't forget to hit that bell notification so that way you guys are notified on part 3 and the finale on the short series of how to repaint your midsoles. Now, if you like this content and you would like to see more, make sure that you comment down below on what you guys would like to see next. Lastly, you guys can also find me on Instagram at fresco.corp. Follow me so that way you guys can keep up with all things Fresco. Thank you again for watching and for supporting, and until next time, Fresco out.